Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, and it is monster news. Aaron Rodgers is extremely disgruntled and has told the Packers he wants out. Our Jonathan Jones confirming the news. The reigning MVP has reportedly been disgruntled for a while now, dating back to when the Packers took Jordan Love last year in the first round of the NFL draft without informing him beforehand. Earlier this week, GM Brian Gutekunst reiterated that the team is committed to Rodgers, and he has offered a long-term extension to the three-time MVP. Welcome in our MVP, CBS Sports HQ senior NFL analyst Pete Prisco, former NFL quarterback Danny Kanell. Pete, I'll start with you. Your reaction is what here? Aaron Rodgers telling the team he does not want to return.
Yeah, it's not really surprising. He's been disgruntled. He wants a new contract. But let's look at the facts here for a second. He just finished the first year of a 4-year extension. Yeah, he's underpaid. Go back to the table, work something out, get close to the top quarterbacks in this league. But it's the 1 year into the deal. Did they give him any help at wide receiver last year? No, but they have a draft coming up right now. He was the MVP last year. I don't understand why he's so disgruntled. We heard all along that maybe he and Matt LaFleur didn't get along when it started, but they do, and they did. So I don't understand it unless he wants to get back to the West Coast. Aaron Rodgers is a different guy now. I mean, look, he loves playing football, but he's got a lot of interest outside of the National Football League, and maybe he wants to get back to California and go host that Jeopardy show.
Pete, that's the difference, I think. There's what a lifetime of difference just a short offseason makes. You mentioned the Jeopardy, although I don't think he's the next host of Jeopardy. I didn't think he was that great. Like, he was good and it was fun, but I don't picture him being the next Alex Trebek. I think he's a great fill-in host. But I think he's engaged now, something that he burst upon us not that long ago, to an actress who would probably live in L.A. or New York City. There's just a different perspective. You mentioned he's a unique guy. He's really opened up this year, shared more of his feelings. I think he's been encouraged to see it. There's also the perspective of watching what happened to Tom Brady, somebody who was attached to a franchise for the majority of his career. He gets out, and then it's like, whoa, Tom Brady got out of New England. He should have been given 2 Super Bowl rings, one for his performance as the quarterback, but also as GM, making the case for Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, of which the Bucs listened to him and did it. So I think Aaron Rodgers is taking all of this in and looking around and saying, wait a second, my team is already preparing for the future with the quarterback they just drafted last year. I should voice my opinion and see if I can get out of my situation too. Ultimately, I don't think anything happens of it, but I'm not surprised at all. He's letting his feelings be known.
And you go back to last year's NFL draft, right? Jordan Love, they traded up to take Jordan Love, didn't tell Aaron Rodgers. And while they're not necessarily required to do so, this is your franchise quarterback, might as well be transparent with him and say, hey, we're going to trade up. We're going to take a QB. I know you would have liked to have us take a receiver here. But this has been brewing, though, Pete. I mean, he was upset when they kicked the field goal instead of going for it. I mean, and I remember even asking the tight end, Robert Tonyan, who had a phenomenal season with Aaron Rodgers. I asked him, could you imagine a situation where Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back? He said, no, we're not talking about that around here. We think he's going to come back. We love him. We couldn't imagine a season without him. Now here we are sitting on draft night, and this is all coming to fruition that Aaron Rodgers might leave. I guess this story has been kind of playing out for some time now, Pete.
Well, I mean, yeah, look, let's be real about it. Green Bay isn't the greatest place in the world to live if you're an NFL player. We know that. It's not a big market. It's not California. It's not Los Angeles. It's not dating an actress, being around that media frenzy that's in L.A. with the movie types. So I understand where he's coming from that standpoint. But from a football standpoint, they were within a whisker of going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was a bad decision when they didn't go for it, but they were within a whisker of going to the Super Bowl. Did they, help him in the draft last year? No, we've panned that. But they moved on. He was the MVP. Now you have another draft. As far as his contract, he just got a $6.5 million roster bonus in March. So look, the bottom line is, I think this is more than just about football. I think he wants to be in California, and ideally he'd like to get moved to the 49ers or somebody like that and be there. If you're the Packers, no way. Zero chance I'm trading him. None. He's the reigning MVP. He played at a high level last year. No chance I'm trading him.
So, Pete, if I were to tell you San Francisco says, here you go, Green Bay, you can have the 3rd overall pick for Aaron Rodgers, what are you saying?
Hell no. What do I need it for? Usually you want that pick if you're going to draft a quarterback. What are you doing? You're going to get Kyle Pitts and then hope like Jordan Love is your quarterback? No way. There's no chance in hell I'm trading Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play for me, so be it. Look, he's going to have to pay back the signing bonus money. And if they do trade him, by the way, there's an acceleration of that bonus at about $31 million now it's $37 million. They can't take the cap hit. They have $3 million underneath the cap. So it doesn't work. It makes no sense. And either you play for me or you don't. That's what I would do if I were the Packers.
Yeah, I think I would take the same approach. Like, so what? You're under contract. You've got to play. Are you willing to sit out? I do think Hakeem presents a scenario. I wouldn't take that deal either. But what if there is a team that presents an offer that you can't refuse? Because I think some teams may do that for an Aaron Rodgers type player. But I think when you said, hey, they were in a whisker of making the Super Bowl, the 49ers were in a whisker of winning a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. The Rams were within a whisker of winning a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. The teams moved on from those quarterbacks. So and I think this is the difference in a mindset. I think NFL players are more willing to speak their mind, to take on an NBA mindset and try to force their way out of situations than ever before. The problem with it is that they don't have as much leverage that NBA players do in other sports in general. So he can say all he wants. He's got the freedom to say it. But ultimately, I don't think it happens either. I think you're right, Pete. I don't think it happens. I don't think the Packers would do it. But I'm very curious to see, the timing of this is very peculiar with about, 5 hours before the draft starts. So potentially a deal could be made. But I'm sure this is like, rats in a cage, spinning, mice in a cage, spinning the wheels round and round. Yeah, there'll be some furious phone calls made, but I don't think any deal gets done today.
All right, well, let me present this scenario because in terms of teams in California, we know the Rams have their QB in Matthew Stafford, and we've heard reports that they actually inquired with Green Bay before they made that deal. What about the Chargers? What about, hey, we'll give you Justin Herbert. We have the 13th overall pick in the 1st round. You give us Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not doing that if I'm the Chargers. You're talking about the 15-year age difference. No way. I'm not doing that. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is better for the next 2 or 3 years, but then you're going to have to go replace him. No way if I'm the Chargers am I making that deal. And that's the problem. What is the value for Aaron Rodgers? If you were to trade him, what would you get? Would the Jaguars trade the #1 overall pick for Aaron Rodgers, give up Trevor Lawrence and get Aaron Rodgers for 3, 4, 5 years? I wouldn't do that either. So as much as I believe in Aaron Rodgers, and I think he was the MVP, I've always been a big believer in him as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game, I'm not giving up a young, rising quarterback for Aaron Rodgers for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but I would argue, though, and you know this as well, Pete, Jacksonville's not ready to win right now. San Francisco's ready to win right now. Chargers are right there. Like, Jacksonville's not ready. They're 2 years away at the minimum.
Wait, the Chargers won 4 games or whatever last year. I mean, 5 games last year. They weren't ready last year either. So, look, the bottom line is if you have a young quarterback who you think is a franchise quarterback, you don't trade him for an older guy. That's the problem. Aaron Rodgers, if he was 28, everybody would jump on board. I'd be the first. If I was out there, I'd be the first GM saying, I'm getting in this line. I'm going to try and give him whatever he wants to get him. But he's not. And I know he says he wants to play till he's 40, and we've seen that play out with a lot of guys. But I'm not making a deal. Justin Herbert and the 1st-round pick for Aaron Rodgers? Hell no if I'm the Chargers.
I have to at least present the scenario. Go ahead, Danny.
Hakeem, I would do it. Teams want to win now. Look at the Bucs, what they did. It's a copycat league. I think and Brady was 42 when they made that deal, and they may get him for 1 or 2 years, but the Bucs are like, yup, let's do it. And as good as Justin Herbert was last year, we have no idea. Carson Wentz was at one time an MVP candidate early in his career. I mentioned Jared Goff going to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo was the rage of the NFL. You never know how it's going to work out over time. I think Justin Herbert's going to be great. I think he's going to be a player over the long haul. But right now, of the next 3 years, he's not Aaron Rodgers. So if you're the Chargers, I do think it would be tempting to trade off on that. Go all in now. No one has any patience. Everybody wants to win now. That's the mindset of the NFL. So from that standpoint, if that deal was on the table, I would think the Chargers would offer it up.
How about that? See, I'm in lockstep with Danny here. But, Pete, I hear your side of it. I certainly hear your side of things, and there's always certainly two sides to the story. But is there a trade out there? If the Packers are willing to come to the table with Aaron Rodgers before the draft starts tonight, is there a trade out there that makes sense in your mind?
No. I'm not trading him. If I'm the Packers, I'm not trading. No, look, if the Chargers want to give me Justin Herbert and their first-round pick, I'll probably do that. I would probably do that. You got a cheap quarterback, so you can build around him. You get an extra first-round pick, but the Chargers aren't going to do that. Would the Jaguars give up the first overall pick for him? How about the Jets with the number 2 overall pick? No. You're getting young, sustainable success. Look, you mentioned Jared Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo. Those teams are resetting the quarterback position in large part because those guys weren't good enough. Once you have that guy, sustainable success comes in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes gives the Kansas City Chiefs sustainable success for the next decade. Herbert will as well. Lawrence will as well.
Danny, will Aaron Rodgers be on a different team when the night is over?
I wish he would, because I think it'd be great for us on our show tonight where we're blowing out the coverage. Ultimately, I think this is all smoke and mirrors. I think Aaron Rodgers would love to be out, but I don't think there's any deal that comes to fruition by the time the night's over. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see it. I'd love to see the mayhem that would unfold, but ultimately, I think Aaron Rodgers is too good. I don't think the Packers will move on.
As the great David Sampson would say, wait to see. How about this storyline on draft day? Pete Prisco, Danny Kanell here on CBS Sports HQ. Men, thank you very much. What a conversation. What a storyline this is if Aaron Rodgers switches teams. And I will mention that no player who has ever won the NFL MVP award switched teams the next season. So this would be a first. And in terms of where Aaron Rodgers ranks, most passing touchdowns in a single season. He had 48 last year and won his 3rd MVP award. Perhaps he'll be suiting up for another team in 2021. We'll wait to see.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.